Hi, my name is Dusty King. I'm one of the founding members of King & King PLC. And this is the King & King PLC video blog. Today we're going to try to take a look at the Uniform Residential Landlord-Tenant Law and Landlord-Tenant Law in the state of Tennessee. Before we get started, to satisfy the powers that be, we want to let you know that this should be used for legal information, not legal advice. And if you need legal advice, please seek counsel from an attorney. Now that we've got that out of the way, if you are fortunate enough to own rental property or are thinking about getting involved in rental property, it can be a great investment and you can do very well with it. But there are some things that you can do to make yourself or put yourself in a better position to be successful. Just like investing in the stock market, there's risk involved when you're investing in rental property. If you go to Edward Jones or any other investment broker, they're going to warn you of those risks and that if you put money in the stock market, you can lose that money. Well, I would tell you that the same is true in investment property. I think the difference between investing in the stock market and investing in real property, or one of the differences is, if you put $100 in the stock market, typically the worst you can do is lose your $100. But if you invest in rental property, especially if you borrow money to buy that rental property, not only may you lose the monthly income that you're relying on from that investment property, but now on top of it, you may have to come out of pocket to pay the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, maintenance, and upkeep, those kind of things. So pretty much getting a double whammy there if you're not careful. I also tell you there's no guarantees in life. There's certainly no guarantees in any form of the law, and this is no different. So you need to take some steps to put yourself in the best position you can to be prepared for the lean times. As I mentioned, you're going to have, obviously, if you can pay cash for rental property, that's obviously best. That's one less expense that you have. As long as you're insured, although anything is possible, typically you're not going to lose 100% of your money. You can always sell the property later, maybe at a lesser amount, maybe at a higher amount. You make money that way. But if you have a mortgage on the property, it's a little different because you've got that monthly obligation yourself on that property, and that is coming whether or not your tenants adhere to what they're supposed to do. So there's some things that you need to do to prepare yourself for the lean times, and I think one of the best things you can do is simply know that those lean times will come and be prepared for those financially. Just quite simply, I would have at least 3 months worth of mortgage payments in an account that I don't touch, that in the event I have a situation where a tenant is, or I don't have a tenant, or even worse, I have a tenant in my property but the tenant won't pay, I have those mortgage payments there. Now that's not the only thing you're going to wind up paying for. Again, you've got taxes, insurance, maintenance, upkeep. So I'm saying 3 months worth of mortgage payments as a minimum, but I would have those in a separate account that I don't touch unless I have to make those payments. One thing that the Uniform Residential Landlord-Tenant Act does require is it requires you to hold deposits in an account that is simply designated for those deposits. I'm saying a separate account from that, have your monthly mortgage payments ready to go, and that way in lean times you have it there. The other thing, or another thing I strongly suggest doing before you ever even buy a property, is know your numbers. The worst thing you can do is buy a piece of property that you have a monthly, say, mortgage payment of $650, but you can only get rent for $500. You've got better places to invest your money if that's the situation. So know your numbers. Get to know a realtor who's familiar with the rental market in the area. I think they can be a vast wealth of information, and even better, they may be able to just handle the property for you. If you want to do a property management agreement with them, and they may be able to take care of that for you. And that's obviously, there's some expense involved in that, and you may be more of a hands-on property owner, but that's certainly an option. But either way, you need to know the market. You need to know how much you can charge and be able to keep your property rented at least on a reasonable basis, and compare that to what it's going to cost you to have the property. Again, if you can pay cash for it, great. That's one element that's taken off of you. But if you can't, and most people are probably going to have a mortgage of some sort on their rental property, at least initially, then know your numbers. I hope you found this information helpful. If I could be of any assistance to you, feel free to give me a call. Our phone number is 731-664-6864, or you can visit our website at www.kingplc.com. Again, take this as legal information, not legal advice. If you need legal advice, please go speak to an attorney. We're people too. We're just a little crankier. Thanks. Take care.